think over the past, certainly 20 years, 25 years, the efforts at educating young men preparing for the priesthood about celibacy is one of the most significant developments in priestly formation.
Celibacy is really our way of love as priests. God loves us. God loves each one of us. And God is always waiting for each one of us to respond back in love. And the beautiful thing about our God is that there's no just one way of responding in love back to God. There are many ways, and so a husband and wife, they respond in love back to God by loving each other and by loving their children. A monk responds back in love to God by loving the members of his monastery through obedience and through prayer. And the priest has his own way of responding back in love to God. We call it in the church pastoral charity. Charity is love. Pastoral means for the flock. Love for the flock. Pastoral charity. That's how the priest responds in love back to God. And pastoral charity affects everything a priest is, everything he does, his whole spirituality. Pastoral charity is the key to understanding celibacy in the priest's life.
What we don't see enough is we don't see parents really understanding the breadth of celibacy, the breadth of priesthood, and really inviting priests into their life and seeing the healthy, holy, happy priests that are out there. That's really important, that we get to know those people ourselves and we get to know more about their vocational choice. You know, tell me, Father, what's it like to be celibate? What is it like to live a life like you live?
A good priest is going to come from a family where he learned. He's not going to learn at the seminary, because in some ways the seminary isn't the environment necessary to learn them, because now the seminary is a place where, building on that foundation of a young man who's generous, open, who seeks to be life-giving, who understands the role that Christ plays in his life, who understands the primacy of relationship with God, but then the mandate that in relationship with God, it also must be in relationship with others. That all happens at the home. The seminary then builds on that foundation.
Celibacy is not just a rule which the church imposes on the priests, as if somehow the two could be disconnected and there's no real relationship between celibacy and priesthood. Celibacy is a gift. It's a gift from God, and if it's a gift from God, then it's a grace.
But then specifically, if parents were to encounter a child who at an early age expresses a vocation, a son who expresses a vocation to priesthood, to nurture that in him by encouraging him to be more selfless, to be more giving, to create opportunities for that, and to support him in that.
In the church, we say that grace builds on nature. Well, what does human nature look for? As regards our sexuality, human nature looks for companionship, and it looks for intimacy, and it looks for generativity. You find all of those in marriage, but you find them also in celibacy. They look different in celibacy than they do in marriage, but it's still love, and it's still human love. And so through our pastoral charity as celibate priests, we know an equal, but a different kind of companionship, intimacy, and generativity. And because of that, we can be fulfilled.
The men who are coming to the priesthood, the men who are choosing priesthood, are men who have dated, men who have thought about married life.
The seminary tries very hard to lay out celibacy for our students in a very practical way. We approach it from many, many dimensions.
It's not a presumption that everybody is called to celibacy, just as it's not a presumption that everyone's called to the priesthood. But we at least give them the opportunity here to hear about it, to discuss it in a number of different fora, and to really give time in prayer and reflection to their call to celibacy.
I have personally said that if tomorrow they announced, priests could be married in the Western Church, while I'm sure that might be beneficial for some, I couldn't do what I do as a priest. And not because of just the demands on my time, if you will, but as a celibate priest, I feel very comfortable and don't bother when people call me at all hours of the night, or people I don't know call me and say, Father, I got your name from so-and-so, could you? Because that's what my celibacy is for. It allows for a particular, a specific type of generosity.